Cheers from the Bull and Finch pub is an absolute delight. This is the inside story of the world's most famous bar. It's written by Steve Prati and illustrated by Doyle. And while it's not the largest book, there is a lot in this, a lot of information, a lot of stories. It is an absolute joy. And if you're a Cheers fan, I thoroughly recommend it. This won't be the longest video. I don't want to give away too much about what's on the inside. We'll have a little look in a moment, but I just wanted to do this to say this exists and I thoroughly enjoyed it and I absolutely recommend it. So this was published in 2000. I'd be very keen to know what this would be like if it was published today. And I'd love to know if tourism to the bar specifically has increased in the dawn of online streaming. And obviously in 2000, my access to Cheers as a show would have been very minimal, whereas of course now it's streaming and the box sets have since then been released. I'd be very keen to know if they've had an increase in international visitors. I'd be very interested in that. But either way, what we have here is an absolute joy. It starts off with In the Beginning, which of course is a history of how the bar came about, which was really, really interesting. And we have a few chapters of what things were like before Cheers. Then of course we have the Cheers story and we learn quite a lot of really interesting things. There are some really fascinating facts shared, including how much they paid to use the exterior. And I won't give that away, but it's pretty interesting. And then we hear a little bit about afterwards and the aftermath, and of course people coming to visit, and then a few more stories. The Melville story, again, I won't give it away, but there's something quite beautiful about Cheers' decision to name Melville's Melvilles. But I won't say any more than that, but there are some really, really fascinating stories in this. So just to give it a quick flick through, I will stop on a couple of things specifically, but as you can see here we have, I love that. That's what the gift shop looked like in, well, presumably around about 2000, which I love. We have a lot of photos, we have some fun illustrations, so many. That one, I'm going to just jump back to that one, if I can do this. No, I can't do it with one hand. I'll come back to it in a second. But there's something about that photo for me that I really liked. We have, of course, the Cheers set there. And there's just so much to look at. So many great stories. We read about a lot of different people. And it's a joy. The layout for this is absolutely brilliant as well. It's just so fantastic. The very, very beginning. 1969. Yes, Medora. That's my cat. She's just been fed, so I don't know what she's after. Yeah, it's just absolutely brilliant. Yes, so I wanted to come back to this. As I said, I'm not going to show you too much in any details. I don't want to give it away. For me, the joy was never knowing what story would be on the next page, what photo would be on the next page, and it was just such a treat. But this one is really interesting for me because, unless I'm mistaken, and I could be, but I don't think I am, right there, just above Nicholas Colasanto's name, is where I sat. When I went to visit the bar, that's where I sat. I'm pretty confident it is. And where Ratzenberger is, there was a gentleman there eating what looked like, I don't know if it was like a pot pie or something, but it looked delicious. I was feeling very hungry at that point. So this, for me, is just a really beautiful image. And if you've been to the bar and you can kind of relate to certain aspects, I think it will be an even more beautiful experience. This is the last bit that I'll show, just because I absolutely love that photo. I don't know what my cat is doing. I think there's a bird outside. I apologise if you can hear her meowing. I'm just not giving her attention. That's what the problem is. This is an absolute joy and I absolutely love it. Cheers from the Bull and Finch pub. The inside story of the world's most famous bar is an absolute treat. I will give away nothing else. And all I can say is that if you're a Cheers fan, or indeed if you're just if you're interested in the history of bars in general, then this is obviously absolutely worth checking out.